everyone, my name is Amanda. If you are new here, welcome back if you are not, and either way, thanks for watching. In this video, I create 3 looks using just one palette, that palette being the Mean Girls Burn Book eyeshadow palette from Storybook Cosmetics. This is what the inside looks like, and I do believe I did use every single one of these shades at least one time in these looks. I got this idea from a couple different YouTubers that I absolutely adore, one in which being Ashley, aka Atlee. I live for her 3 look 1 palette videos because she is very colorful in her looks, and I love that. I've also seen Sam Ravindal, I really hope I'm not butchering her last name, but she has done these as well. That's actually how I discovered Sam. She had done a 3 look 1 palette video with the Prism palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, and I loved, it's part of the reason that I bought that palette because I was so impressed with the way that they looked. And I love this style of video because I think it's perfect for that. If you are researching a particular palette and you want to see how it works, wouldn't you rather see as many of the shades, if not all of them, in a video all at once? So yeah, let's get into the first look. The first look starts with the shade You Can't Sit With Us, which is a pale pink, kind of coral color that works perfectly as a transition shade. I build that up slightly above my crease with a fluffy blending brush from BH Cosmetics. This brush is from the Rose Quartz collection, which may just be my favorite set I've purchased from them yet, although I feel I say that about all the BH Cosmetics brushes that I've used before, but I've honestly never met one that I didn't like. They are awesome quality for the price, and I cannot recommend them enough. Next I go into the shade The Plastics, which is an opaque matte white, and I place that all over my lids as a base for the rest of the look. I'm using a shadow brush from Morphe. This is a part of the I Slay set from their 2017 holiday collection, which is actually currently available at Ulta. I'll link that down in the description box along with everything else, but I recommend this set as well if you're looking for new eye brushes. I really love this white shade. I don't think I have found a matte white that is as opaque as this one, and it's especially perfect alongside some of the other shades in this palette that are mostly very bright and vibrant. It provides a really great shade for use as a base, but also helps to blend out the other shades if necessary. I take the fluffy blending brush I used for my transition shade, and without adding any additional product, I blend the edges of both colors together. Next, I pick up Regina George, a light pink shimmer shade with a gold reflect. I place that on the inner half of my lids with a shader brush from Sigma. I first tried applying this dry, but I ended up wetting my brush with a setting spray to really bring out that color. Next I use Wednesday, a matte, bright fuchsia pink shade, and with a smaller blending brush, also from the BH Cosmetics Rose Quartz collection, I add that to my crease and the outer portion of my lid. I feel like I can never have enough of this size of brush. I love how easy they are to work product into my crease, and I also use these brushes to add color underneath my lower lash line when I'm doing more smoked out looks. It seemed to take a long time for me to realize I wasn't getting the looks that I wanted because I was using far too big of brushes in the certain areas of my eye. I do always recommend that you start out with brushes that are smaller than you even think you need because you can always add more product. I technically should have done this after I applied the transition shade and before the shimmer on my lid, but to be honest, I wasn't completely sure where I was going with this look when I started, so it was just kind of a winging it kind of situation. Up next is She Doesn't Even Go Here, which is a dark matte maroon shade. I use the same small blending brush I used with the previous shade, and I add that to my outer corner of my lid and into my crease. I pick up some product on my brush, tap the brush to remove any excess, and then pat the product where I want the bulk of it to go, blending out once I have less shadow on my brush. I found this shade went on slightly patchy, although these shadows blend so well that I was able to work it out in the end with minimal effort. Look at how those reds blend with each other. That's one thing I was so impressed with using this palette. The shades not only blended well, but also worked so well with each other, and I think that's a really important aspect of a solid palette. I will periodically blend the shades together with the fluffy blending brush I used for my transition shade. Again, no additional product, just using it to blend the colors together, as it really helps to create a nicely blended look. Next, I go back into the plastics and I add that to my brow bone and my inner corner with a pencil brush from Morphe. I don't typically use a matte shade in my inner corner. I usually go for a pretty intense inner corner highlight, but I actually really loved the way this matte white shade did the trick. To finish off my eyes, I use the smaller blending brush I used for my crease, and I build up the colors I used on my lid underneath my eye, below my lower lash line. I add some mascara, and the first look is complete. To begin this ultra wearable look, I start with the shade Cool Mom, a shimmery turquoise blue shade, and with a firm shader brush from Sigma, I place that onto my entire lid, starting at the lash line and working my way up. I didn't wet my brush for these shades either. They work really well without, and since I was using them on my entire lid, I decided against, as the setting spray can tend to make the shadows apply a little heavier than I want. Once I've hit the opacity I want for my lid shade, I take a clean blending brush to buff out the edges. Then I add more of the color to my lid to make up for any that was blended away. Next, I pick up the shade So Fetch, which is a matte orange, and I add that to my lower lash line with a pencil brush. I thought these contrast eyes were perfect since there are two sets of complementary colors in this palette, blue and orange and green and pink. If you're not familiar, colors that are across from each other on the color wheel are considered complementary. For my other eye, I grabbed the shade Gruel, a metallic lime green color, and I placed that on my lid just as I did the blue. I love both of these blue and green shades, but the green shade does have a lot more shimmer and sparkle than the blue. This green may just be my favorite of the entire palette. It is so pretty. For underneath this eye, I use the shade Wednesday. After that, I grab some of the plastics and I add that to my inner corners as a base for the highlight. I use Mouse, on a pencil brush to highlight my inner corner. This shade is a gorgeous metallic silver color, and it is one of the many reasons why I wanted this palette. I saw Jeffree Star use it on his channel, and I just immediately knew that I needed it in my life. To finish this look, I go into the shade October 3rd, which is a metallic black shade. It's really pretty as it's not overwhelmingly sparkly, and it has different colors of sparkle within it. I use that on a small crease brush to deepen the outer portions of my lids. Finally, some mascara, and that is it for the second look. The third and final look starts the same as the first, with the color You Can't Sit With Us as a transition shade. Next, I pick up the shade Glen Cocoa, which is a matte brown, and I add that to the outer portions of my lids with a small crease brush. Then I go into Is Butter a Carb?, which is very aptly named as this shade applies like literal butter. It's a really unique yellow gold shimmer shade, and I use a shadow brush from Tarte to apply it to the inner and center portions of my lids. I didn't need to wet my brush or anything. This may be one of the best working shadows in the whole palette. Next, I grab the shade Regina George, and I place that on my inner corner. I tried adding it to the very front portion of my lid over top the gold shade, but it didn't come through that well, so I used it mostly as an inner corner highlight instead. After that, I work backwards again, reinforcing any colors that blended away and making sure everything is blended together. I add some of the You Can't Sit With Us shade under my lower lash line as well. Add some mascara, and the third look is done. That is it for my 3 looks. I absolutely love this palette. I highly recommend, whether you are a makeup collector, whether you are a Mean Girls fan, whether you just like really vibrant, very good working eyeshadows, I recommend you pick this baby up. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, please click that thumbs up button and give me a subscribe if you would like to see more from me. Until next time, bye. Hi, kitty. Do you want to say hello? Say hello. Say hello to YouTube. Why every time I get the chance to have you up here, you don't... Look at that angry face. Or is it just the lights? Is it too much light? Or are you the kitty and you want to get down?